Hello everyone, welcome back. And in this video, we are going to talk about what are the various deployment options in Salesforce, and then we are going to deploy our first ever chain set, whatever the chain set we have uploaded from our dev sandbox to the production. So these are the various options while validating a chain set, and this is very important. This is not only for the chain set. Even it is saying that validate chain set, because this option I have taken this screenshot while validating a chain set. But these validation options are available for any kind of deployment you are doing using any tool. Either you are deploying using chain set that we are going to see, or you are deploying using the Apache Ant, you are going to deploy using Workbench, Salesforce DX, or you are going to use unmanaged package. These are the various options that you have, and you must need to know about all these options, and these are very important, and which one to choose in which case of test cases or in which case of deployment. So we have got four options. One is default, which is by default selected for any sort of deployment, and what it does is it completely depends on the chainset components, what components you have added inside chainset. So suppose that you have added Apex class or Apex trigger inside your chainset component, and you have selected deploy default as a validation option. What it is going to do is it is going to run local test inside your Salesforce environment. When we say that local test, that means all the test cases which were developed by any developer who worked on that project, or any other developer who left or who is in a different project. If you have any customization, if your changeset component contains only the configuration, that means like we had few of the objects, we have a custom field and a tab and some list view page layouts. If that is the case that you have, then it is not going to run any test cases if you are selecting by default. And this is for both either sandbox or production environment. So this is all about default option. If we select run local test, that means we are specifying no matter what is inside there my component, what are the component inside there my chain set, I'm always going to run all the local test inside Salesforce environment. And if there is any error while executing any test cases, it is going to throw the error. When we select run all test, that means we are saying that execute our test cases as well, execute the test cases which are coming as a part of managed package. So if we have installed any managed package inside our Salesforce environment from the App Exchange applications, then it is also going to execute the run the test cases from the managed package as well. That's why it says there run all tests, no matter who has developed those test cases. And there is one last option which is saying that run specified test. Specified test is something where you are going to specify which test classes you wanted to execute. You can specify multiple test classes based on a space separated. So these are the various options. Now let's quickly see how we can apply these options while deploying the chain set. So this is our Salesforce environment, which is the production environment. You can also log in into the production environment by using the credential which I have already given to you. And if the credentials are expired, please let me know. I will update the credentials. Now here, once you are inside your Salesforce environment, what you need to do is just search for chainset. And this time, what kind of chainset you are going to select here? Inbound chainset. The reason is that the changes are coming from dev environment to our production environment. So we are going to select inbound chainset, and once we will select inbound chainset, it will show us what are all the changes, what are all the chainset which are awaiting deployment, and what are all the changes which we have deployed into our Salesforce. So I am going to show you the chainset which is awaiting deployment. Just go ahead and click on this chainset. As soon as you click on this chainset, we might have already discussed, you are going to see all the components which are added inside that chainset, and you will see a button for deploy and validate. So as a best practice, what we do is we always validate our chainset before we deploy. The reason behind why we validate is like we wanted to make sure that we have included all the dependent components and there are no test cases failing in case of customization. So when you click on validate button from the previous screen, you will see that you will get this kind of these options that we have already seen here. So if you select, I'm going to show you two options. One is default, another one is run local test. So first I will show you run local test, where I'm going to say run all the local tests inside Salesforce and give me the result. Either my change set is validated successfully or I'm getting any sort of error. Just go ahead and click on this validate. And as soon as you click on validate, it is going to give you the pop-up. Just click on OK and just it is going to start validating your change set. It will validate if there are all the components which are dependent on each other has been included in the change set, and it is also going to run the test case. You will see deployment started and you can just click on this deployment status page and you will redirect to deployment status and you will see that you have got this which is saying that there is some error in the validation. If you click on view details, we will see that there is some error. And what is the error? This should be the error related to the code coverage. Here it is saying that your code coverage is 0%. You need at least 75%. That's what we have discussed into the previous video. Now I wanted to go ahead and deploy using the default option. And what default option is going to do is it's going to check if my changeset is containing some sort of customization, then it is going to run the test cases. If my changeset is not containing any sort of customization, then it is not going to run the test cases. We are going to just validate, and after validation, if the validation is successful, we are going to deploy our validation, our changeset. So we'll go to deployment status page. We will see how it is going to look like. This time you can see validation has been succeeded. If you wanted to see the view details, you can just go ahead into the view details section and we will see that there were total 8 components and no test cases required. That's why it said that not required. The reason is we had only configuration changes. Now you can just go back to your deployment page. Here you can see you have got this deployment page. One is validate success, one is deploy success. You can just go ahead and click on deploy button, and using this deploy again it will ask the same screen, but this time the button content will be different. It is saying deploy. Instead of validating, it is going to do the deployment. It's not going to do the validation. And yes, if you haven't validated your changeset, it is definitely going to validate your change. So here we are inside. Just wait for a second. Yeah, here we are in the deployment started page here, where we see every single thing. If you go to deployment status, you'll be able to see that deploy succeeded, and we can again go to this component. Basically, we can go to the changeset, and we will be able to see that either this changeset has been deployed. Like definitely it has been deployed. We just wanted to see what kind of status now it is showing on the detail. So it is saying it has been succeeded, validation succeeded, and validation. All kind of history is showing us. As we know that we have included some sort of objects over here, we wanted to make sure that those components has came from developer sandbox to our production environment. We will quickly go to objects from the quick search box and will search objects under this create, and like that. And here we will see the list of all the custom objects which we have created. So we can see there are 3 custom objects. There are type which we have created for our invoice object. We can also verify that. So let's quickly go to the tabs on inside our Salesforce environment, and we can see that there is no custom tab. There is no custom object tab. That means we have not included custom object tab inside our chain. Now if we go here, we can just again go to our chain set, verify that did we included the custom object tab here inside our changeset or not, because we wanted to make sure that the changes, whatever the changes we are sending, those changes must be over here. Either you can create the tab from here as a part of post deployment step, or what you can do is you can go to your developer environment again and add that tab, custom tab into your changeset. Send that changeset from sandbox to production and then again deploy. So we will do this into the next video, and we are also going to see how we can migrate the permissions, the component permissions like field label or tab or fs class permission, how we can migrate using the changeset. I'll meet you into the next video. Thank you.